Step one, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
My bite's not closer to my bark, buddy. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
I have a question for you. If you woke up this Friday morning and you looked in your bank account and there was $10,080 magically there, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But the only stipulation is you have to spend it all in 1 week and it'll be gone. And then the following week, you'll get another $10,080 deposited, and so on and so on. You can spend it however you want. Or if you don't spend it, it disappears. We just spend every cent every week, or would you allow it to be wasted and taken away from you? Well, guys, this Friday, you're going to wake up and there's going to be 10,080 minutes that God has given you for the next week. And you can spend them however you want, or you can simply waste them. Guys, I highly suggest that you spend every minute of next week doing amazing things, and don't allow 1 minute to be squandered, because you never know when God won't deposit another 10,080 minutes in your life, guys. Go out and live a great life.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
So as we're watching Dr. Phil and getting an insight on Summer Wells, you know, we're paying close attention to every piece of words that are coming out of their mouth. We're paying attention to their body language. We're paying attention to every little detail. We're going back. We're fast forwarding forward. We're rewinding back. And so go ahead and shoot that. So Don Wells on here says the first thing he thought of when he realized his daughter was missing is that she was abducted. That was his very first thought. My question is with that, all that greenery, all that trees, all that whole vast land, your first inclination would be that she was abducted? Not that she was lost, not that she went out and played and fell asleep somewhere, you know, in a tree, something. Your first thought was she was abducted. And he says that multiple times, that that's his first thought, is that she was abducted. My question is that would have been my first thought, first and foremost. Secondly, why would that have been his first thought? Was he threatened by somebody that he owed maybe money to, that if he didn't pony up, something would happen to his family? If he didn't owe any money, why would that be his first thought? The wife, Candace, has failed and actually got up out of the interrogation with the human lie detectors. The two gentlemen that were there, you know, reading body language and everything else like that, which was a little suspicious because, you know, you're here to try to find answers for your daughter, and especially if you think she was abducted, your first thing would be, you know, selflessness. You're not worried about yourself. You throw everything on the table to save your child, and somebody asks the tough question, and you break down and get up and don't want to talk about it and take your microphone off. This is not conduct of people that had nothing to do or don't know anything. Secondly, it was apparent that Don Wells may have been at work during the time. So why is the wife half, Candace, so upset about stuff? To me, just this little bit I've previewed thus far, I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than she's saying she knows. I think Don now knows that she may have been involved, and that's why he's having some body language, eye blinking pattern issues. But if he was not there at the time she disappeared, I think the mom knows exactly what happened to Summer Wells.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good people of YouTube. How are you doing this beautiful Friday morning? TGIF to all my beautiful workers out there. I know you guys are just so tickled pink. It's Friday, right? It's Friday. Mama Llama is up in the house, followed by Bullhorn Betty. Good morning, Sheila. It's nice to see you, oh lady. Oh, good morning, be beautiful. Sonia, our beautiful Sonia, is up in the house. We have Nico, Jack Cat. Good morning, love. I don't chat much, but I have to comment. Those eyes of summer are the most beautiful. They are. She had beautiful eyes. She had beautiful blue eyes. The real me too. Good morning. And we were just chatting it up this morning. Good morning, Angie. Who else do we have? I know there was Second Thesis. Good morning. Mike is up in the house. Our Big Mac Mike. Good morning, love. Sandra, good morning. TL. Who else do we have here? Ellie, good morning. Reggie, Melody, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sweetie Pie is up in the house. Now, I did want to let you know, if I missed you guys, good morning. Big Blanket, good morning. I see Jules. I see Katrina, Sweetie Pie. Am I missing anybody? I think we got just about everybody. If I did miss you, you're new to the chat. Good morning. I'm Bullhorn Betty. Kim, good morning. Morning from California. You're up awfully early. And JB, I got to say, I got a sneak peek of your gift. And I got to say, I like it. I like your winter chicken dinner. Can I have it? Can I have the shirt, please? I hope you enjoy it when you get it. Don't forget to take a picture and send it to old Bullhorn Betty, okay? Send it to old Bullhorn Betty. If you guys have not noticed, we just changed the membership levels here on the Bullhorn Betty channel to kind of match our personality. You know, good morning, Bojangles, Nana of 12. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for being here, Pat. So we're changing it. So now we're a light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and espresso, baby, right? And that's so much different than our, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels. So I think that kind of is more in line with our coffee club, our true crime and coffee club. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Maria Gigi. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Aurora. So we're going to be talking about the Summer Wells case because there's been a lot of misinformation out there that's being peddled about the case. There's people on one side of the aisle or the other. They think the Wells did it or they don't. It is not one of these things where people they're making their decisions, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, out of emotion. For whatever reason, whatever their life experience are, they have an emotional response when it comes to Summer Wells and Don Wells. Much different than mine. Mine's more analytical. When I'm out there, I remove all emotion. You guys know how I feel. I do not believe in getting chummy with victims' families and stuff like that. It's because I have to keep an arm's length distance from me and them. And the reason why I do this is so I'm not I don't become biased, right? That's the problem, is that a lot of these content creators have already become biased. They didn't do the necessary work to come up with the conclusion that they have. They're going by an emotional response. That is the problem. Emotions does not equate to law, because something doesn't feel good to you or you don't want to believe it doesn't make it so. If you look at all the evidence in its totality, it's a very clear path. Now, you're saying, well, if it's such a clear path, why can't law enforcement arrest them? And that's where the ignorance of some of the people here on the streets of YouTube come from. Ignorance. And I'm going to call it that because it's stupidity. It's people that have no clue about the criminal law and how it works. Why are the Wells not arrested? Well, you can't arrest somebody when you haven't even designated the person that's missing as dead, right? How are you going to have a murder charge when the child is still deemed missing? Nobody's seen her. She hasn't been anywhere. There's no phone calls coming in of sightings of her. There might be now, just to throw the case off, because we got twisted people out there in the world that really don't care about the justice for this 5-year-old child that's now 7. Yes, now 7. It's going to be almost an 8. We're going to be at the 8, the 3-year milestone. She's going to be 8 years old before we ever even start hearing things. I was talking to Mama Bullhorn last night or yesterday rather. And we were talking about this case, and we were talking about the totality of everything, and we talked about this early on in the case about how Dawn Wells was acting particularly weird, right? The day before she disappeared. Why? We're learning that Department of Children and Family Services out there in Tennessee were up the bowels of the Wells, much more than we had originally acknowledged or knew about. Apparently, this was a serious issue. You're going to hear, I don't want to, no latte. Robin says no latte. No latte. We got espresso. We got espresso. I'm trying to make the slurping thing, and it ended up almost coming out my nose. Oh God. It's Friday, right? And coffee is my jam. And if I lose one, I'm telling you, this is my addiction. You guys really want to know what I'm addicted to? It's caffeine. Give me caffeine. Literally that if they made an IV that literally put caffeine in my system 24/7, I would give up coffee. And I would go on the pump. Right? It's kind of like that what is it when you have diabetes, the diabetic pump? Except it's a caffeine pump. Pump it in me, baby. Oh, good Lord. How can I get your email? bullhornbetty@gmail.com, Melody. And I did get your Instagram stuff. I'm so sorry. I'm very rarely on Instagram, and well, you've been around me so long, you already know. It's one of those things where you hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait for a response from Bullhorn Betty. Before we get started, diving too much further into the Summer Wells case, I kind of want to just step back just a little bit. As you know, this channel is God-driven and, our audience focused. So today is November 17th, Friday, November 17th, right? And we've been learning a lot. Even yesterday was to be persistent, right? And today is undoing mistakes, right? So it's one of those things. Even last night I was talking about, my county commission and how I kind of, was a little rough with them, but there were some things that, deserved the, the firmness I presented. But you know what? Like I said, now that we made our statement known, now there's a place where we got to come from a place of love and support that constructive criticism with positive reinforcement. I do believe in that, right? Positive reinforcement always helps when you're critical. When I don't like complaining about something without having a path forward. It's fruitless in my world to complain about something if you're not going to put necessary action to correct it or fix it. So it's one of those things: either shut your mouth or get off your butt and do something about it. That's the way we live. Okay, that's the way I live here in my house. This is the way. If I don't like something, that's what I do. Anyways, November 17th. Undo your mistakes. It's a very powerful message. And I think everybody, I get stuff out of this stuff too. That's why I do it, right? And I know if I'm getting something out of it, somebody in my audience might be getting something out of it. Undo your mistakes. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admitted it. This is the 10th step of Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program. It's also a step that many wise people not working a program practice too. Sometimes the mistakes we make are teeny weeny ones. We say something that hurts another person, or we behave in a way that's inappropriate, and we feel bad about it. Sometimes the mistakes are bigger.
Much, much bigger. We may have taken a job or gotten ourselves into a relationship thinking it was a good idea, only to discover later it wasn't. For whatever reason motivating us at the time, we made a mistake. We took a wrong turn on the path, and the direction we're going isn't where we're meant to go and isn't where we want to be, or we are arrived at a dead end. Step 10 is part of the program, 1/12 of the program, because someone knew we were going to need it, maybe 1/12 of the time. The words, "I'm sorry," are in our language because we've developed the need for that phrase too. Not making amends can damage our relationships. When pride or shame prevent us from making amends, we close our heart to God, ourselves, and the people we love. Admit your mistakes. Take any action necessary to correct the situation for yourself and the people involved. Just open your heart and say these 5 words. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Then let go and get on with your life. Have the courage to do what you need to do to get back on track your life. God, help me admit to myself, to you, and others when I'm wrong and have made a mistake. Whether it's a small one or a major wrong turn in my life, then help me undo the action and get back on track again. So I know that if I'm reading this, somebody has veered off track somewhere, right? We are all human. We all make mistakes and we all make poor decisions. Some of us make less poor decisions than others, right? I mean, that's just the name of the game, right? We're troublemakers, right? The one thing I say all the time, the one thing, you guys know how I feel about perfection. I believe it's a joke. I believe it's unreal. There's no such thing as perfection out there in the world. The only thing I'm perfect at in this world is being imperfect. I don't know about you. I'm a perfect sinner. I am a perfect sinner. That is about the only perfection I've got in my life. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect in my work. I'm not perfect in my appearance. I'm not perfect in my relationships. I'm not perfect at my job, and I make mistakes all the time. And I love it. You know why? Because I'm living. If you ain't making mistakes, you're in a box, baby. If you ain't making mistakes, you're in a box. It's what we do when we make those mistakes, you know? It's what we do that really defines the character and the integrity of the person when we make the mistake and what we do to correct it. So if you guys have situations in your life that need to be addressed, today's a great day, right? It's Friday. You're happy. You're sliding into the weekend. Your work week is shaking off. If you've hurt somebody in your life, today is a great day to say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Getting on to the Summer Wells case, we're going to revisit some of the commentary that I had yesterday because I think it bodes right into the work that we have today. Give me just a second. Let me see which one this one is. Hold on.
Dudley aging.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to get into that too. But first, I'm going to go back to some of the should I want to go to? Let's listen to Dudley. You guys want to listen to Dudley? I'd rather listen to Dudley because it's going to kind of dovetail right into what I'm talking about today. Because as I spoke, Mama Bullhorn and I were having this conversation yesterday, and she's talking about the child welfare situation. And was Don supposed to be even around the kids at this time? Did the Department of Children and Family Services say he can't be around these children, and was? There's a lot of things that we don't know and that we didn't know at the time. That intro video that I did, that was one of the first assessments of this case I did. That was before we ever even stepped foot in Rogers County, or Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County, rather. That was my initial due diligence, saying, what do we have here before us? What are our problem areas, and what do we need to do? And how can, with all this information and how they look, in appearance, looking guilty, how can we possibly look at this case analytically to clear them or not clear them? Right? We're not law enforcement. We're just journalists monitoring these cases, and we're just going out there to find answers. Sometimes our advocacy, which in this case led some evidence to law enforcement that they didn't have. You know, whether the people were misrepresenting to them or whatnot, they didn't have certain information that we were able to provide. You know, that was a good thing. We were a little more ruthless during the Summer Wells case than we are at this moment. You know, when we rolled up on you, you got 6 people, you know, pulling out of an SUV, you know, kind of coming up with cameras and microphones in your face and just, you know, just peppering you with questions. We did that. It was effective because we kind of threw people off their game, and they would literally open up to us. I don't know. It was just a secret, you know, just a strategy that we used that ended up working in this case. And we were able to derive a lot of information from a lot of key witnesses that knew Summer, knew the family, were in and around this entire situation from the beginning, from the time she left to go to the water hole to the time Hunter came back to the house and what have you. So there's a lot of questions related to Don Wells' complicity in this. You know, when that video was originally made, the one that we just watched in the intro, that was prior to me realizing Don Wells went to work with his kids, his boys. That was prior to me knowing that he left his job and went home and was home most likely at the time that Candace showed up. You know, that was before all the information from Sherry, his grandmother, and his mother, Allie. That was before we even talked to the other lady on the other side of the mountain. What other lady? Yes, we have it. We have it all. We have the information that directs everybody in that community. Let me be very, very clear. The only idiots that are supporting the Wells are the ones online that have no clue what they're talking about. Literally none. And if it offends them, it offends them. I that's not my problem. It's theirs. The only people, right? Their neighbors won't defend them. Their friends won't defend them. The people that knew them won't defend them. Law enforcement won't defend them. Nobody that knows them in their community will defend this family. Why? Because they probably know this family. But we have the Yahoos here on YouTube telling each and every one of you that Don Wells couldn't have done it, that there's no evidence that Candace had any responsibility. I say that is misrepresentation at its finest. In my opinion, the only thing lacking in this case for arrest is the fact that Summer Wells has not yet been deemed deceased. As soon as she receives that designation as deceased, it is my prediction that Don Wells and Candace Bly, and potentially Grandis, will be having silver bracelets put on their wrists. So all these idiots out there that are talking that this family, you know, that if they did something, law enforcement would arrest them by now. We all know that is not true. We're having people arrested doing crimes 30 years ago. If we had the internet 30 years ago, these people would be laughed off YouTube. Laughed off YouTube because they don't get anything right. Nothing. So let's turn this over. Let's go to Dudley first. Let's listen to what Dudley has to say.
Don Wells' ex-coworker, and he had some things to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get past this shit because it's not fair.
We will be interviewing him face to face. He is yet another victim of Don Wells and Candace Wells' charade.
Full interview coming soon.
I said, where's Don? He said he's skimming the house. I said he's skimming the house when his daughter's missing? I mean, he talked about meth every day. Every day he talked about meth. I just didn't understand why he was going to work when his daughter's missing. You know what I mean? Because I've never seen him that way.
So he was distraught on a Monday.
Something happened Monday morning. Jose was at Don's property, staying there, before she came up missing. Grandis is, well, she never said a whole lot. She had this look on her face. They leave the kids inside with me and they go outside and talk. They would come to the job and they would start screaming at each other. It's about Summer, not Don.
So many of you know we interviewed Dudley, and the reason why we interviewed Dudley is a direction from Don Wells himself, right? Telling me that I'm not looking at the right people, that I'm only focusing on him, his wife, and Grandis, that I'm this big meanie that just picks people out of a box, points my finger at him, and says, "You did it," right? Not the fact that they did. It's just, Bullhorn Betty's just being mean, right? Just being mean. Well, let's face it. There were some oddities going on. Who's Dudley? He's the past employer of Don Wells, partner, so to speak. And that's another thing that Don Wells lied to me over and over and over again. He told me that there is no way. Dudley's a big old fat liar. Dudley doesn't. He's just a liar. He probably did something with Summer. It's his fault, right? I would never. He's such a liar. He's telling everybody he was partners with me. And I would never split my income up 50-50. What is he thinking, right? And then on another channel, you hear Don Wells talking about, oh, well, what other boss would give their employees 50%? And it's like, Don, you flipping lied to me again. Like, do we know how to tell the truth anymore? Or do you just live in a freaking, a movie? I don't get it. He tells me on one thing he doesn't split his stuff that he didn't. He did it. Dudley's biggest complaint is that Don never paid him. So listen to this. And I heard it myself because I listened to it. And you believe me or not believe me, I even recorded it. I don't know where the recording is. It's been 2 freaking years. I'll have to go through all my stuff and I will find it. But Dudley's wife played the tape. This is when Summer Wells is missing. This is the day that the next day. So this is on the 16th. This is June 16th. She disappeared on the 15th. This is the 16th. And he is on the phone cussing Dudley out, telling him that he ain't paying him nothing. He ain't paying, wasn't talking about how his daughter was missing, how he can't handle this right now or anything. No, it was just vile anger, cussing Dudley out. It was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. He was more concerned about a job the day after his daughter went missing than searching for her. People out there want to sit there and say that the people that are saying that Don and Candace are guilty of this have some kind of motivation behind it. They want a click or a view or financial gain because they're telling the truth. I'm sorry. They're guilty because they're guilty, not because I say they're guilty. Because they are. And when you remove the blinders off your eyes and you pull your butt out of your head or your head out of your butt, right? When you hear that, you know it's popped out. But I don't want it so. I would love to know, in a situation like this, that a parent couldn't be capable of this. Couldn't be capable of this. But they are. Not because I said they are, but because they are. Nobody was around Summer Wells but her family. And until you see this property, and this property is extensive, guys. It goes up in the air. You can't see squat from that ground. You can't even drive a normal vehicle up their driveway. It's so steep, it just rolls backwards. Give me a break and cut it out. If anybody's peddling this misinformation to you, unsubscribe. Seriously, they are misdirecting you for their twisted purposes, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Don Wells is guilty because Don Wells is guilty. Don Wells did something to his daughter long before she ever disappeared. Believe that. And if you don't, it's not my problem. But you don't sit there and tell me I'm part of the problem when you're supporting a monster that did despicable things to his daughter. did despicable things to his 5-year-old sister, can't seem to keep his ass out of jail, and is still beating up on Candace. Frickin' way to go. Way to go. But I'm not supposed to be upset. I'm supposed to be calm, cool, and collective. I'm just supposed to just sit here and say, oh, well, you know, Don Wells, you know, they've been through so much, you know, they got the children, you know, taken from them. Yes! They got the freaking children taken from them for good cause. For good cause. Let's go fill up their bank account now so they can smoke crack while their children are being taken care of by the state. Idiots. Idiots. If you guys are tired of the lies and tired of filling up Don's pocket with drug money, put a 1 in the chat. Because I got to say, after 2 years, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I really am. It's disgusting to me. They don't, these channels aren't putting money toward the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They're not putting this money toward, you know, say, what is that search group that we have out there, that really good one with Rader in it? You know, what's his, Dennis Rader or whatever his name is? That sounds like the BTK. Whatever. I know his last name's Rader. I shouldn't be. But you know what I'm talking about. No nonprofits. No. These disgusting, despicable channels that support monsters aren't raising money to help society. They're raising EquiSearch. Thank you. They're raising money to support drug addicts, drug dealers, alcoholics, and child abusers and SAers. That's what they're using your money for. Not to help children, not to help the missing, not to prepare flyers, not to prepare banners, but to put money in the pocket of the very monster that has caused so much damage in every one of his children's lives. 8 to 10 children he has had either removed from his custody and Candace's, or their child went missing. I find it awfully suspect that Rose Bly, Summer's aunt, disappeared in similar fashion. Poof, one day just disappeared and was never seen or heard from again. Sounds like they did the same thing that they did to Rose Bly. That's what it sounds like to me. Because let's face it, talk about the odds of having 2 immediate family members disappearing and never being seen again. Tell me the odds of that. All you smart hate channels out there that love to support monsters like Don Wells, can you please explain that to me? I'm just curious. What are the odds of that? Do you know the statistics? I mean, you've been talking about this case for 2 years. You've never went out to Rogersville, Tennessee. You've never seen the property. You've never done one stitch of actual investigative journalism on the case. But yet you believe he's not guilty. How are you coming up with that conclusion? And what statistics, since you're peddling this nonsense, this misrepresentation, what are the statistics or odds of 2 immediate family members disappearing in similar fashions a decade apart? Usually, when law enforcement hears stuff like that, red flags go up. I can tell you that. And that's not Bullhorn Betty saying it. That's just reality. I know many of you guys don't like living in that place called reality, you know, but it does exist. And it's real, not a delusion. Wells. Summer Wells was a 5-year-old child that went missing from her home in the Beach Creek area of Hawkins County, which is Rogersville, Tennessee, a small little place. The Beach Creek area is well known for a lot of shenanigans, a lot of rough housing, a lot of deaths, a lot of fights, a lot of drugs, a lot of disappearances, and a lot of places to hide a body if you need to. Point blank, that's what we've learned. Summer Wells' family story doesn't make sense. After 2 years, the parents have not been cleared. And let me put this in perspective for my audience. Whenever law enforcement, and I know this because I've talked to law enforcement. I'm friends with law enforcement. I know people from the CIA. I know people from the FBI. I know people from local, state, national.
Echo should be down. Is there still an echo? Let me check something out here. Hold on a second. Yeah, I got my echo. It should not be echoing. I'm not hearing echoing on my end. Does it sound good? Huh. Let's try it. And if not, then I'll just kill that and go over to a video. But I don't know what's causing the echo. I'm not getting the echo. Is it still echoing?
Programs,
nonprofits,
a lot.
Okay.
I will tell you what was told to me. They put the parents through pure hell. When something like this happens and things don't, they start out, just getting information, they're your best friend. And then when things don't pan out, they turn the heat. They want to clear the parents as quickly as possible. They know the agony of missing a child is hard. They know that their job.
There's nothing I can do about the echo, and then because I don't know what's causing the echo. Let me just see. Hold on one second. Let me just check my settings here. It's always something with these damn these damn computers. That's probably it right there. Output. Okay. Hopefully this is. See if this works better. Sucks that they have to tear these parents apart because at the end of the day, parents do despicable things to their children. Does that mean that the parent in front of their face missing that child did something despicable to their child? No, it does not. And that's why they need to clear the parents. They need to make sure the parents had nothing to do with it. So I was told a long time ago, the parents are the first ones that they clear. They want to clear them so they can make them they want to bring them over so they can help them, but they need to make sure that they know who they're helping. So they clear the parents. That's literally the first thing. Anybody that's in and around this child, they want to clear that inner circle as quickly as possible. Get them, interrogate them, put them through hell, get them through this hell as quickly as possible. That's what they do. They know. Law enforcement knows they're putting these parents through hell. Don't think they're oblivious to the fact. That's part of their job. So they know they're putting, it doesn't mean that they like doing it. Okay. They're watching a parent literally bleeding from the inside out because they're missing their child. So parents, they're not wanting to beat the parents up, but they have to. They have to make sure that the parents aren't involved. So 2 years later in the Summer Wells case, both of the parents, Don Wells and Candace Bly, as a matter of fact, Grandis as well. None of them, after all of this time, have ever been cleared in the disappearance of Summer Wells. Moreover, law enforcement has maintained for over 2 years. 2 years. There is no evidence of an abduction. I'm going to leave it at that just for a second because, that is the nuts and bolts of it. 2 years later, nothing has changed in the investigation. The parents are still the prime suspects. There's still no evidence of an abduction. And she was only with her family that day. Were there tree trimmers out there? Yes. Could they have seen her? I highly doubt it. If you guys saw the property, and I don't know how to express it other than that, if you guys, it's even as hard as when we were out there and we tried to show you guys how far up their house is on this mountain, it doesn't do it justice. You can't, no matter how we shot the angle, we sat out there for a long time trying to shoot the angle so you guys could really see the reality. You can't get it. You can't even get it captured on video. It's one of those things that you have to be there in person to understand. It just is. It's not because I say so. It just is what it is.
So part of the conversation that I had with Mama Bullhorn last night, and she's going to come up here. I told her to, save her commentary until we get to the phone. We're going to open the phones up, and I'm going to let my mom speak, and I'm going to let any of you that want to come and talk about this case after my mother, you can. But she brought up some valid points about the Department of Children and Family Services and the fact that, it's possible that Don may not have been or been able to be around those kids. That he may have been ordered to stay away. There's some stuff that's suspect, such as the revelation that Chris McDonough stated that he believes that Don was staying in that shed. He was probably staying in that shed for a variety of reasons. I can tell you that out of all the trash on that property, that shed, when we peeked in it, we did peek in it. We went on the property, and everybody wanted it. Oh, you're trespassing. Well, we're only trespassing if somebody tells us to leave, right? Because, we were going up there, knock on a door. Whatever. I can tell you, when we looked inside the window, that was the cleanest part of their house. And it was still dirty, right? It still had trash in there, but it wasn't like they're inside of their home. It wasn't filled with trash. It wasn't filled with boxes. It was a cleaned area, a much cleaner area than they're inside of their home, which is a little odd and might bode into with somebody living there or staying there. There is a path that leads directly to that shed from the back. Still a hike, still directly up to that. It's very difficult to walk. I'm sorry, it just is. If it was easy to walk, they wouldn't drive their cars to up the driveway. And you have to have an all-wheel drive vehicle to get up that driveway. That's why she's driving that red car. That red car is an all-wheel drive car that can go up that driveway. Many of us, we have either front wheel or rear wheel driving. And our vehicles, especially if it's a 4-cylinder, would literally roll backwards. You're not getting it up their driveway. You're not getting a car up their driveway. It just is what it is. So tell me how this child was kidnapped. I mean, there were other low-lying properties that had kids out playing that day. So why that property? Why the most difficult property? Doesn't make sense. Nobody can explain that. Well, they had hits of the dogs. Yeah, they had hits of the dogs, her scent going down a dog trail. You can't tell me that they can say that if that was evidence of an abduction, law enforcement would say it was evidence of an abduction. It's evidence that her body or herself was moved. That's what it's evidence of. It's not evidence of an abduction. But there were some odd behaviors with Don Wells before Summer went missing. So it makes you wonder, is it possible that Don knew the kids were going to be taken? Is it possible that there were more things going on that we're not looking at here? We're looking at the water hole. We're looking at all these things, but why aren't we looking at the real information staring us in the face that this may actually be more nefarious than an accident? Because if that child was abused by Don, which many of us believe he was, because like we said, zebras don't change their stripes. She would have been taken from the Department of Children and Family Services, and she would have been known to have been abused. There are a lot of opportunities and options here as to what happened to Summer Wells. Some that show accident and something that shows something more intentional and despicable. But you know what doesn't change out of all of this, no matter which way you go? The players involved. Those don't change. The same people who were around her no matter how you flip the coin. And the only same people. We are true crime. We use our noggins. We have our common sense. We analyze these cases. We look at them. We look under the hood. We look at the people. We look at their criminal history. Don Wells is a piece of garbage. I mean, I would say something else, but at the end of the day, he's just garbage. I've got his, thanks to one of our lovely subscribers here, they were able to give me the link to get into his Arkansas stuff. So we actually physically have an Arkansas link to get into his court records. And I did just that this morning. And guess what? There's a lot here. There is a lot here. Lots here. It's a little concerning. A little concerning. So I thought maybe we needed to go back and listen to Dudley's interview, because I really truly believe Dudley has something here that we need to be paying attention to. And it's the behavior of Dawn Wells before she went missing. It's suspect. And we keep looking past it. Why? I think it's a major clue. Let's look. Hold on.
Take that Subaru.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying.
Today, we interviewed Dudley Ajan, Dawn Wells' ex-coworker, and he had some things to say.
Let me know if it's echoing.
I don't want to get like that. I really don't. I'm so sick of even dealing with it. I'm just trying to get past it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get past this shit because it's fucking. It's not fair.
So Dudley, John was getting emotional on the phone with me when he was talking. He's going to meet us at 7. He's ready to get some stuff off his chest. We will be interviewing him face to face. He is yet another victim of Dawn Wells and Candace Wells' charade.
That Dawn reached out to me, and this is honest to God's truth.
Oh, I believe it.
While I was with Betty, and said, "You're focusing on the wrong people. It's not us. You need to talk to this guy." And I'm like, what? That's when people started coming to you. I personally know you're innocent. So
if
the reason why
I was the suspect, I believe TBI and
exactly,
FBI in Hawkins County would have taken me, because I've met with them every time they ever called. TBI's been in the house, and I knew the first 20 seconds I talked to him, he already lost interest in me.
Yeah.
Why do you think they came to your house?
Well, because for one, it's their job. They have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, Dawn Wells said that I was the main suspect. I mean, I had to state police at my dad's house at 1:30 in the morning in Church Hill. The next day he fired me on a Monday, and Tuesday morning at 1:30 I got a missed call from my dad. He's called multiple times. Something's wrong. So I called at 7 and, "Are you in some kind of trouble, son?" They didn't even tell him what they were there for. They just was looking for me. Dawn Wells knew where I lived. Okay, Weber City, Virginia, and Churchill, Tennessee is 2 totally different places.
How does it make you feel that he's, we know that he's put your name through the mud. He's called you drug addict, all these things. How does that make you feel?
I mean, when I first heard it, it made me upset and angry, because for one, I never done anything with him, but smoke weed.
Right.
So,
which I don't think is a crime. Is that a crime in Tennessee?
Virginia's legal. So
Okay.
it's legal in Virginia. That's where we're living.
Okay.
But how do I feel about it?
I mean, because he said basically that you're a meth addict.
You see, the problem is Dawn Wells, Candace Wells, knows what happened to Summer Wells. So I was in the way. When I seen him, I've never seen Dawn this way before. He had this look on his face like something really bad happened.
So when you say that, what date would that be? So she went missing on that 15th. When you say the Monday,
that's the 14th. That's the day I got fired that evening. That's the day he said, well, he was talking about having everybody at the job and stuff. Tuesday, the day Summer come missing, I believe is what I heard. Richard Tucker and all them. But that was Monday, not Tuesday. So to me, I'm like, why is he lying about the date? He was supposed to go work Sunday. He didn't show up. I worked Saturday. And Monday I go in and he's sitting on a tub, like head down and just distraught. And I'm like,
that was the day before. Okay. He's talking about the day before Summer Wells went missing. And we keep looking over this statement. Don Wells was having weird behaviors the day before Summer Wells went missing. And why are we not looking at that? And I think that's key because, there's two, that, like I said, the players don't change. The players don't change. Whatever happened to Summer happened at the hands of her parents and on her property. The only people that left that property that day, which we were told one time when Candace drove off like a bat out of hell, but we've got cameras that show only one vehicle leaving twice from the area in and around that time. Can you explain that to me? And the only vehicle that was sighted leaving the area was Candace. That we know of. That we know of. And I believe those cameras, I think law enforcement knows more. Well, they obviously know more than we do because they do have cameras. The house down there that is cornered, that's literally on the ground, that has children living in that house, by the way, on the ground, much easier to get to a child. That house there has cameras. I didn't know if they had put those cameras up before or after Summer Wells had went missing, but because we have corroboration that there is video, I know those videos were up at the time. So it will tell when Don Wells got home. It will show law enforcement that Don Wells came back to the house. So I don't understand, everybody keeps talking about why there's no arrest. Because Summer Wells is not deemed deceased. That's why there's no arrest. It's not that the parents haven't done anything with their child. It's not that. It's the fact that she has not been designated or deemed deceased. And what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. All it means is they have not had enough evidence, either a big, huge pool of blood somewhere that proves that she could not possibly have survived her injuries, a body. So there's been no leads. There's been no sightings. There's been no activity from Summer Wells whatsoever that we can see, hear, feel, or touch across this country at all. So while she may not be designated as deceased, where is she? There's no evidence of an abduction. So this SA and HT and all this other stuff that she may be subjected to and going through for the last 2 years, there's no evidence of that. There's always evidence of something, a struggle, breaking of, this place is filled with trees and foliage. You're going to see struggling in that foliage. Even her kicking her feet are going to break things that show that she was kicking her feet. It's amazing to me what the science that goes into these cases and reinventing these cases for a trial. It's amazing how they're able to set this stuff up. But don't think just because Don and Candace aren't in jail yet that they're off the hook. As soon as Summer, I promise you, as soon as Summer Wells is deemed deceased, much like Harmony Montgomery, when they finally say that they have evidence that that she is deceased, that she is no longer with us, you saw how quickly people were arrested for her death. It took years to get there. But who was ultimately responsible? Her father and her stepmother. Did it change the fact that it took a little minute to get there? No. Was Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, guilty of the crime because I said he was guilty of the crime? No. He was guilty of the crime because he did the crime. That's what made him guilty. Don had major behavioral problems leading into the disappearance of his daughter. And I find it a little odd Now, if you want me to get my tin hat on, I will, because I have been very kind with this case in my reporting of it. Very kind, as opposed to the information that I know. Very kind. Because to you, all of you out there, I have been pandering to the kindness of you by saying, I believe it's an accident. But the more and more we look back on this, let's put the building blocks in place for each and every one of you. And you decide for yourself what you think those building blocks mean. Dawn Wells had a behavioral change the day before she disappeared. She went out for her day out with her mommy, right? Mommy and grandma. She was there with them. She went out with her mom. She was with her mom by herself. Went out to the water hole, picked up her favorite brother, not brother, Hunter, and they went out to go have some fun at the water hole by herself with her mother, not her brothers, not anything, just herself and her mom and Grandis. Where's the boys, right? Where's the boys? I just think it's awfully funny that he has behavioral changes. She goes out on a trip with her mother the next day, and then poof, she's gone by evening. We've heard the statements of Hunter talking about how, he turned around. We know Hunter was not standing by the car because even Candace tells Chris McDonough that, he's off in the woods somewhere. So now we have nobody's eyes on Summer Wells. So if you take all these little pieces of information that are factual and you put them all together, you've got a big problem here. You've got a father that's acting strange before his daughter disappears, his daughter going off with the mother for a day out with her mom by herself, big girl stuff, and then boom, she's gone. Hunter was not at that truck. So Hunter's story that he was sitting there at the truck and saw her go underwater and casually walked out there. How could that happen when he wasn't near the truck? Candace said he was off in the woods. So that leaves Candace and Grandis up at the truck, and we know how despicable those people are. And while they're doing their whatever they're doing up there, putting phone minutes on there, Summer is in that water by herself. At some point, Hunter did not see Summer out there and started going out there. He couldn't find her. He says he couldn't see through the water. He's hollering in the water, Summer, can you hear me? He reaches in there, pulls her up, and apparently she just walks off with him and she's just fine. And it led us all to believe that there was an accident such as, dry drowning. But if we were to take that accident theory, we would have to eliminate the fact of Dawn Wells' odd behavior the day before she disappeared. And there's my problem, because we're finding out new information about this case. Things are changing. I am sitting back and kind of letting this thing kind of go where it's going to go. But, I also was reminded that we're approaching the 3-year milestone. 3 years. 3 years. I know people have reached out to me because they want an event. They want some type of protesting event out there. They want to have their voice be heard. They want law enforcement to take them seriously. They want to do something. If they want to do something, I will support whatever they would like to do, whoever they are. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to bring the audience. I'm happy to bring my bullhorn, and I'm happy to fight. Because honestly, we need to do something at this point. Because we've been kind, we've been quiet, we haven't disrupted law enforcement, we haven't been the pimple on the butt of a politician in a while, right? We like being that pimple. So we've got to do something. Because Summer does matter to each and every one of us. She's mattered to us from the beginning. You guys know I was not going to go out there. I was not going to take this case on. We heard it was too dangerous for us to be out there. We heard a lot of stuff. We were stalked while we were out there. We were verbally assaulted and almost physically assaulted by another content creator because he's lost his ever-loving mind and probably deserves to be in prison because he can't control himself and he's a danger to the people around him. But at the end of the day, for us to believe that this was an accident, we would have to eliminate the fact that Don Wells was acting strange the day before. And unfortunately, we can't eliminate that. Why was he acting so odd the day before she disappeared? We're so focused on the 15th. What about the 14th? What about the 14th? Let's keep going.
This ain't good.
So when you say a tub, where's this at? Like a job site?
At the job site.
What job site was that?
That was the one you recorded me at. Doing the drywall Saturday that was that job. That's the job he said, I couldn't tell what you had done that day. I put 5 buckets of mud on. She recorded me. And he got mad because I went over his work and it looked better. So he envied me. And he thought I was a threat to him. And he was going to lose his job because all he knows how to do is finish drywall.
What was the address that you got, the last job that he was working on before someone went missing?
I could tell you exactly where it was. The address, I couldn't look at lot numbers.
Location.
It was, what exit was that? Man, I get confused in the towns, but I know it wasn't Bluff City. It was close. Jonesboro. I believe it was Jonesboro. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was, Jonesboro.
So you got fired the day before someone got reported missing.
Yeah, I got fired the day before. The day he looked all crazy and shit.
Who
He was
fired?
going to Jamie. He went and seen Jamie down the street from the job site. Okay, he went.
Who's Jamie?
Jamie was the guy that he said he went and talked to. When Richard Tucker and all of them was there. But he didn't say I was there. See, he's saying that was on Tuesday. That's what I heard, but that was on Monday. That's the day I got fired. They were all there.
Did Don fire you or Richard Tucker fire you?
Don fired me.
What, like, why? Because he's like your at the time supervisor?
Well, we were partners.
And then he's going to say 50. Let's see, Don lied to me multiple times about this 50-50. He's like, I would never, do whatever 50-50. And I'm just like, no, and then we heard him, I think it was on Cher's channel or something like that, him say, well, what other boss would give their employee 50%, and like he acknowledged that he made this agreement with him. So Don Wells stiffed this guy, is anybody gonna put money in Dudley's pocket for Don stiffing him, since you guys are all taking care of Don's bills now and his child support and his drugs and his alcohol? Are you guys gonna pay Dudley the money that Don owes him? I mean, I'm asking for a few friends here. I'm asking for a few friends, you see. So Don Wells had some weird behavior. I'm going to open up. Is Mama Bullhorn? Mama Bullhorn, don't acknowledge that you're in the room, but if you're, are you here? Do I need to call Mom? Because she's got some good insight. She's got some good insight. Hold on, let me just get the phones up, and then we'll just call her. Let me move this so you guys don't see all the names and numbers of everybody. Oh, no, not that. My app. Okay, this is the one I'm working on. Let's go to make sure that this is turned on. It is turned on. Okay, it is turned on. All right, I'm going to call Mama Bullhorn. Hopefully she's awake. I've got her number in here somewhere. I don't even know what my mother's number is. That's so bad. There it is. I can recognize it if I see it, right? I can recognize it if I see it. Oh, shoot. They probably have my... Oh, there it is. Okay. You guys can hear all that, right? You guys can hear it ringing? Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, hello?
Hey.
Hey.
I don't know why. Why is my speaker? It's not in my ear. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're on. Hopefully they built-in microphone, ringing speakers, built internal speakers. I hate when it changes that. All right. I think I got you. Internal microphone. No, we're going to put that on. We're going to put that on. All right. I think you're up. I think now I can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So I I'm talking about the Summer Wells case. I'm talking about Dudley. We just went over a portion of Dudley's interview. I'm not doing the full hour interview today. Somebody's saying there's an echo. There's an echo. Hold on, Mom. I got some issues. I should have set this up this morning. I've got to set all my settings saying you're echoing. Hold on a second. Okay. Come on. Hold on. I think I just killed my stuff is now up. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Output, input. I think we could. It sounds good. All right, talk, Mom.
Okay. Am I echoing now?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see. I got some issues going on with my stuff. So tell me what you were talking about yesterday for my audience.
Okay. Yesterday, I've been watching Josh on the lab, and the impression I get from the two of them is that something's going to happen. Something's about to happen. Something's about to break.
Well, that's not the focus. No, I'm talking about the conversation that we had about Don Wells.
Yeah, Don Wells. Mm-hmm. He's said a lot of things lately, and that he had denied 2 years ago, and it's coming out. He's letting it slip, and that's something that.
Elaborate on that. Can you elaborate on that, please?
What? Yeah. It's Don. From what I can pick up in all the conversations, at the time Summer went missing, Don was not supposed to be living at home. He was living in the construction sites, and I believe he was living in the shed there on the property. Because I believe, from what I'm hearing off of Chris McDonough and the lab, CPS must have been there and told him to leave. Now, we all know CPS is highly secretive, and nobody can find out what really is being said or done. It's kind of like the grand jury. You'll never know. But apparently he was not staying there at the house, because right at that time in the preceding weeks, Candace had made a phone call to 911, and she was inferring that he was R-ing Summer. And you could hear Summer in the background saying, "Mommy, help me. Mommy, help me. Help me, Mommy." And it's heartbreaking. And Chris McDonough played that 911 and reviewed it. And it's very scary. There's something going on. And I know we were talking about Jeannie and Mary. I don't think Jeannie and Mary brought up their past history to prosecute Don. It's been 50 years, but they were bringing it up to bring it to the attention that might be happening to Summer. And it all just clicks. It clicks. He wasn't supposed to be living at home. Something happened. CPS made him leave the house, and they came and visited. Right? On the 14th, CPS was there, and something must have been said or done or impressed upon Dawn and Candace that they were coming back for the kids. Well, then the next day is when Summer went missing. Well, CPS backed off and didn't come get the boys for another 3 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
But I think, in my opinion, I've been listening and listening because, honey, I'm the one that brought this to you. when it happened. I'm the one that we were out at lunch, and I'm the one that brought this to you about Summer. I had watched it from the minute I got that Amber Alert on my phone. I knew something was going on, because you don't find parents that are drugged up every time they're in front of a camera. They're either drunk or drugged, like they were. They never once went looking for her. If you make a list of pros and cons, it's like check, 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 check. Guilty. Something happened. And it's going to be a while, folks. It's going to be a while before we all find out. But I got a feeling I'm on the side of Chris McDonough and the lab and Justin and everyone else. Something is about to happen. Something is coming down the pipe. And I don't know if they've had a grand jury. No one will know. But something is about to happen.
I hope so. She needs justice, and I'm so. Hold on. She deserves justice, and I'm sorry. Dawn and Candace have lived free this whole time. It's time for them to pay their just desserts.
Yeah. I think about it. I'm a mom. Okay. And we won't go there, but if my child had gone missing, okay, I would be out there. I wouldn't let anything go unturned. I'd be knocking doors. I would be turning over rocks. I'd be burning things down, finding my child. We know what I did once upon a time. So it's uncanny that they have, Dawn, Candace, and Grandis have just sat there. And then it came out in the interview with Grandis and the TV anchor that time. They don't call the cops. They expect the cops to call them.
Yeah. She hasn't heard. Yeah, Grandis's interview was just very telling. It's just
they've never called to find out what's going on. They expected the cops to call them. I'm going, oh my God. So there's something there.
Yeah. There's, and not only that, but again, what are the statistics of somebody having two people disappear of the same circumstances? Just poof, one day gone and never come back.
Right. And the horse pond was it was planned.
I'm just starting to get the hint that there is something more nefarious here, because, in order for us to believe that it's an accident, we have to remove the behavior of Dawn Wells leading up to her disappearance. And we can't. It's blatant. It's there. There's something happened before she disappeared.
Oh, Lord. It was like the Last Supper. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
That's why I made it a point to say, she went off with her mother alone. She was with her grandmother and her mother and Hunter. This was a very intimate day for them. She didn't have all the kids. She wasn't trying to just get the kids' energy. This was a special day, it seems, with her daughter. It just, you start, right. You got to step back and start looking at it a different angle, because the angle we're looking at it is not right. We're not looking at this properly. There's more here. There's a lot more here, and it's a lot more damaging than what we think in our mind.
Exactly. And I even said that to you one time. I thought it was the Last Supper. But I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know the whole story. But I think Dawn and Candace did something to Summer to keep her mouth shut.
They were going to be in
because
trouble.
they knew CPS was coming to get them.
And I don't believe Dawn was the only one abusing these children. And I'm going to say children because I think all the children were abused in some way, S way. I think all those kids were abused, essayed at some degree or another. I truly do believe that. I believe that house was totally unfit and wholly unholy.
I mean, none of the kids were sleeping on sheets. They were sleeping on.
They had no doors on They had breakers in their house with no door on the bathroom. That means all those kids had to see everybody's business. It's disgusting. Yeah. They were living a very demonic lifestyle.
Yeah. So we all know the facts. We all know what's come out in the details that have been slipped between Candace and Dawn and Grandis. Some are sleeping with Dawn, some are taking showers with Dawn. It's terrible. And the fact, I honestly think they just had to do something because the boys, they had beat them into submission.
The children were abused. We talked to enough people that yes, the children had been abused by their parents, not just, the sharing of the drugs, but also the smacking of the heads, this was a violent home, guys. And that's what the other channels are refusing to tell you guys is that how much drugs, alcohol, and violence were consumed inside this home.
And the other thing is, the fact that there was no food. The kids, the boys, the only meals they got was from school during the day. They got
occasionally the frozen pizza. They ate apparently a lot of frozen pizza, a very unhealthy.
Lots of milk. Yeah.
All right, Mama Bullhorn. Any other last thoughts?
Well, it's like I wake up in the morning sometimes and things come to me clear as a bell, and it's sad. It is so sad to, here we are, almost 3 years and not a peep. And I'm the one that brought it to you, baby, that the county is bankrupt. That county is bankrupt, and they don't have the funds to even bring this to a trial.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you. It's like, what the heck? What do you do? The state would have to fund the trial.
The state, we need to be doing something for the state anyways. Listen, guys, there's so much corruption in Hawkins County. We've got, politicians going to jail for drugs and other, just morally corrupt things. And there's corruption in this county. They have no money. We need to be bringing this to the state and saying this has got to go to the state. Nobody's, I've been campaigning about this. Trevor agreed that he would be happy to do something. Outside of Trevor, I've gotten no support from any other creators out there on the streets of YouTube or any other social media platform for that matter to literally start trying to help bring justice to Summer Wells as opposed to just talking about her case. But I'm not doing it alone. I'm sick and tired of every time things need to be done with Summer, it's left on my shoulder for our side. We have hate channels that don't like us. We get it. They do their own thing. But for our side, it seems like in order for to push this forward, it's always got to be me. And I'd like some help. And if people aren't willing to help, well, I can't do it alone. And people can't expect me to.
Well, there's a couple of other things that they tried to say that Dawn said several things that weren't true. That you and Molly and JLR got him fired. He didn't get fired.
Oh, no. He did not get fired. He got thrown off that particular job.
Site.
Yeah, he was still a Tucker employee, but they won't tell you that. He was moved from one job to another. That's all they did. So
exactly.
he was working the very next day. I think he chose to take off, but he had a job that he could do that literally the very next day. But he chose to go to the cameras, go to the news and say how we got him fired from his job. Poor me. Had a national audience and didn't even bring up his daughter's name, not one time, because it wasn't about his daughter. It was only about him, as it always has been since the onset of this case.
And the interview that you had with Dudley is so telling, because that interview has not been, I mean, no one has a couple of people has gone through it. Justin has used it in, I believe, Dolly.
Mm-hmm.
But they hinted at it on one of the Chris McDonough programs. They hinted at YouTubers, they called it YouTubers interview with Dudley. But the facts that came out in that interview that night have all been proven to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the beginning, everybody, all the Hills, people from the Hill, shut you down about it and said Dudley was lying.
Nobody told us Dudley was lying. The only person that pointed us to Dudley was Don Wells.
Yeah, the Wells, the Hill, people off the Hill. So the fact Dudley brought out the fact that there was something going on with CPS,
mm-hmm.
and that was the reason Don was sleeping in bathtubs on job sites and yada yada yada.
He was just he was observing just odd behavior he had never seen Don have a day before his daughter disappeared.
And then that's the other thing is that breakdown, the breakdown of Don knew something was about to happen that day.
Mm-hmm.
Don knew.
Mm-hmm.
And it all adds up. If you make a list and go from the 14th through the 15th to the present day, the pros and the cons will be 10 times longer than the pros. But it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
And it's two ignorant, dumb ass drug addicts are going to get away with murder.
No, they're not going to get away with murder. No, I don't believe it.
And then the other thing is, Candace, I honestly think she was the mule.
Well, let's not get off topic. I don't want to go down that road yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's not go down that road yet.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I had to say.
All right, Ma. I love ya.
Love you, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So a lot of information coming from Mama Bullhorn, a lot of information over the last year. The bottom line is, guys, no matter how Summer Wells disappeared, the players are the same. The players never changed. You know, we can't just, I mean, we can plan B this all day long. We really can. We can make 15 fictitious people if we want to. But these glaring defects in the story are what make the story fall apart. How would anybody see Summer Wells outside her home? But that is not even what they're saying, guys, right? That's not what they're saying. Candace said Summer went into the house and went downstairs to the bedroom. We learned from Hunter's family that there was a couch in front of that door, that there's no way that she could have gotten out of that house because that couch has always been in front of that door, specifically to prevent the kids from leaving that area without their parents' knowledge. Where did that couch go? The couch is gone. The couch wasn't there. So they moved the couch so they could set this up as if she walked out that door, which she did not. Now, let's put this back into perspective. So now you got a little girl on top of a mountain with a whole bunch of trees surrounding it. No way from the road you can look up and see anything going on that property. There's literally no way. From that Beach Creek, from that Ben Hill Road, because they're right on the corner of Beach Creek and Ben Hill, right? Right there on the corner. Neither spot you go on, whether you're on Ben Hill or whether you're on Beach Creek, you cannot look up that mountain and see what is going on that property. You cannot see it. You cannot see it. Even when all the trees are off in the winter, you can make out the house. You can make out the bus. What am I saying? You can make out the really big stuff. The really tiny stuff, like a 5-year-old girl running around up there, you're not going to see. But Candace didn't say that this person saw a child running around. She didn't. What she wants you to believe is that somebody came on her property and went inside her house and took Summer away. That's what she told us happened. She didn't tell us that Summer was outside and just disappeared. Summer was inside her home, inside the house. So she wasn't even running around outside, according to her own mother, for anybody to even see her, even if they weren't on top of that mountain, and even if there weren't all those trees surrounding the property. So please, these glaring defects that everybody wants to act like doesn't exist, please explain that to me. Explain how some weird person, some deviant person other than Don Wells that was already living at the home, some deviant person that couldn't see through the trees, that can't even drive up the mountain without backsliding, managed to know that a girl that wasn't there just a few minutes prior to, because she was at a water hole, somehow has ESP, so much so that they not only know that Summer Wells is on top of that mountain, they know specifically where in that home she is to go in and abduct her. What? Sounds like a pretty close person to me. Sounds like somebody really close to the family, if you ask me. But, I mean, who am I? I'm just Bullhorn Betty, right? I mean, this is my first case. Never seen anything like this before in my life. You know, I can't make heads or tails of this. You know, my ears are broken. My brain doesn't work. So I have no idea what law enforcement means when they say that the suspects, the persons of interest, are the parents, or they haven't been cleared. And there's no evidence of an abduction. I mean, I you know, maintaining this thing for 2 years, I don't understand what law enforcement is meaning by that, because clearly she was abducted by a guy with superpowers. We're looking for Superman. That's plan B, according to the Wells. Or a UFO. I'm a little confused on whether they think it's Superman or a UFO. I'm unclear. Don, can you help me? Was she abducted by the aliens or by the man with the superhuman power? Doesn't make sense. No matter how you slice this, no matter how you break it down, no matter how you analyze this case, the players are always the same. It doesn't matter whether she was murdered or an accident happened. The players are still the same. I find it awfully odd because normal parents, when you have a child that injures themselves or hurts themselves, or say falls off a mountain, or can't get up because they got water in their lungs, typically parents pick up the phone and call 911 to help their child. We didn't get that. What we got is a mom leaving the property twice and then coming back and calling law enforcement. Or something similar to that. That's what we got. Hey, Granny. My beautiful, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Nice to see you, November Rain. Cotton Candy, if I didn't say hi. So there you have it. You know, we're going to be going down this. We're going to start opening the vault of Summer Wells. We're going to start taking a deep dive because I'm going to be damned if you guys are going to be misinformed, especially as much money as we spent on this case. Money, time, effort, sweat, tears, and blood on this case. I'm going to be damned if somebody's going to misdirect information because they have emotional issues they can't get over. We're not an emotional channel. We care about people deeply. We want to help as much as we can, but we are not going to let anybody pull the wool over our eyes. We're not that kind of channel, and we do not support monsters. I will not give you $1. You will not get one click or view from me for a monster because that's supporting a monster. We do not support monsters here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. You know what we do? We get our bullhorn and go make their lives a living hell. That's what we do. Lawfully. Lawfully. Nobody's going to tell me what the hell I can do on public property unless I'm breaking the law, which I don't break the law. So I'm not worried. But we're going to have to do something. So my proposal, here's my proposal. I think we need to get a group together, and I think we need to go to the police department. And I think we need to protest the police department. And then when we're done protesting the police department, I honestly think we need to go to TBI and tell them to take the damn case and take it over. This is not going to be effective. Well, you know, when we had Summer Wells's milestone, her vigil, we only cared if we had 10 people or more. It was a much bigger event than that, by the grace of God, right? We had a lot of beautiful souls out there celebrating children. We had a very emotional time. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But we only were seeking 10 to do that. In order for us to make an impact, and I want to be very crystal clear, and it's not going to be effective. You guys know me. I'm a strategy person. I know what I'm doing when it comes to this stuff. If you want to make an effective impact, this is what we need to do. It has to be 100 people or more. Okay? For us to be in front of TBI, we need to come in force. We need to let them know that we're here out of love. We're here out of love for this child, and she deserves justice. That's what needs to happen. 10 people will not do in a strategy like this. You know, for a milestone, a vigil, you know, coming together, praying, yes, that's fine. But when you're taking a stand and you're making a difference and you're wanting to move the needle, you got to go big or go home. So I'm happy to support, and believe me, if this is a strategy that you and other creators want to do, we can do it. But it has to be impactful. It has to come from a place of love, and it has to come collectively. It can't be 2, 3, 4 groups. People, if you care about this child, put your bullshit aside for her. If you give a damn. If you don't, not my problem. Right? I don't really care about the people that don't want to do the work necessary to get the job done. Stay home. You're a distraction. But for those that really want to make a difference, that's what it's going to take. And if you guys are willing to do it, if we can get 100 bodies out there, if we can have a strategy of Hawkins County and TBI, I will put the full weight of this channel behind those initiatives. But it is, let me just be very clear. It's go big or go home. Because this is going to be the final stand that Bullhorn Betty's going to do with the law enforcement for Summer Wells. I'm not going to get involved anymore with it. I'm going to continue talking about her case. I'm going to continue advocating for Summer Wells. But if we really want effective change, that's what we need to do. We need to be polarizing the corruption in Hawkins County leading up to that initiative, right? We need to expose all the corruption. We need to damage And it sounds bad, but it's not that we're damaging them, right? It's their damage. We're just exposing that damage. We're coming from a place of love, but we're going to wrestle with them because this case needs to go to the state. They are too broke to handle this case. They're not focused enough to handle this case. They have too much corruption and too many problems to deal with this case. This case is above them. I've said that from the very beginning. They're out of their league when it comes to the Summer Wells case. They're out of their league. Everybody wants to talk about Don Wells being so stupid. He's stupid as a box of rocks. I never underestimated that man, and I never will. You guys can all day long. That man is not dumb as a box of rocks. Now, he is not book smart by any stretch of the imagination, but that man is street smart. And if you ask me, would I rather have street smarts or book smarts? I'll tell you, street smarts has gotten me out of more jams than any book smarts have ever gotten me out of. So what kind of smarts are you looking for? Because he's got the goods. And for everybody to keep thinking that he doesn't, you're delusional. The man is a very smart, calculating, cunning, and conniving man that abuses women and abuses all women. There has not been one woman in that man's life that has not been abused by him thus far. So all you women that supported him, you make me sick. Do better. Do better. You are a woman. How can you support a man that beats women, that abuses children? How many women put money in that man's pocket? How many? Supporting the woman abuse, supporting the child abuse. How many of you beautiful women out there were that stupid? I'm not even going to ask you to put a 1 or a 2 in my chat because I don't want you embarrassing yourselves. Women, we need to be stronger. We're women. We give birth to these kids. They're our children that we must protect. You and your bleeding hearts are killing kids. Stop. Analyze. Quit leading from the heart and lead from the brain. How many beautiful women out there? And I criticize a little bit, but I know these women are beautiful because, who else? It takes a good-hearted person to want to support a cause. You supported the wrong cause. You should have been supporting the child and children initiatives, not the monster that caused all this problem. Support children, not monsters. Support, domestic battery facilities, not monsters. Where's the advocacy for services and resources for the victims of Don Wells? Don Wells is not a victim. Candace is not a victim. That woman has pushed out how many kids from her? And how many kids has she been taken care of? She's a despicable woman. Take the blinders off, please. You guys are being led astray. You've been led astray. Oh, thank you, Gigi, for life. Gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell her thank you. Thank you, thank you. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I hope you guys do enjoy the new, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll because I'm about to close out. I hope you guys enjoy the new, which one is that? I love it. I love it. It doesn't say, I love it though. But we changed our memberships. We now have light roast, medium roast, dark roast, and espresso. Those are our membership levels now. They're kind of more defined for the coffee club and whatnot. I hope you guys stick around as we start diving back into Summer Wells. I went out there many, and then more many trips out there to the Rogersville, Tennessee area, covering this case in depth, speaking with the people in and around Don Wells, his neighbors, his friends. We went everywhere. People that were accused, we went to their house and knocked on their door. We went to the mortician's house. We spoke to his daughter. We went out there and found out what happened to this child. Now, again, we don't know whether she was murdered or was an accident. At this point, what difference does it make? Because I almost find it even more appalling, in my personal belief, if it was an accident. If this was an accident and you failed to even get help for your child, I think that that is almost more despicable in my mind. So what is it, Dawn? Did you kill her? Or did you just hide the body? Asking for a few friends. Guys, have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your Friday. If you guys haven't noticed, we're trying to stick with a very, very tight and methodical schedule here. And so the best way I thought for all of our audience to remember our timing on this show as we open up to a second show in the evening, it's 6:30. Our time is 6:30. It doesn't really matter what time of the day it is. That's our show time. We're 6:30 in the morning. We're going to be 6:30 at night. So if you are wanting those shows, you can come in the morning or you can come in the afternoon. They're different shows. They're wholly different shows. So if you're wanting more fact-based reporting on cases like Summer Wells, like the Idaho 4, you're a coffee clubber. You're a coffee clubber. If you want something that's a little more relaxed, where you have more, where we just chill, we'll throw some true crime in there. We'll talk about some cases that probably aren't making national attention. We may even dive into another conversation of a nationally attention case, but it's more of a relaxed environment. We're exhausted. We're tired. We just want to hang out, have a few laughs, enjoy ourselves, enjoy the camaraderie. That's more of the evening show. It's not really we research some of the information, but it's not like a Summer Wells case. It's just basically talking about a case. It's not something that I am heavily involved or, into those cases. Like yesterday, I think we talked about several Florida, oddball Florida cases. So I've enjoyed it. And personally, for me personally, I've actually enjoyed the two shows. I enjoy being around you guys. You guys make me laugh. I have to tell you, I think you guys bring as much joy in my life as I bring into your life, right? Like when we crack it up here, we crack it up. We do a bang up job, right? So we just have fun. And I think that is, we like to learn about true crime, but we also don't want it mentally affecting our audience. So we have to lighten the mood. We have to make some things a little lighter just for the mental health aspect of what we're doing, right? And I know that because it affects me. This kind of stuff, this work, I'm not going to lie, it mentally affects me. You deal with death every single day. You deal with the crap of our society on a daily basis. That's why I try so hard to empower and get you guys out there and doing things, because I feel like sometimes this is all consuming. And so I have to break it up. That's why I love politics. I love getting out there. It gives me a way to redirect some of, my energy and doing good, not just for these cases, but for my own community. So I hope everybody, I try to lead by example. Right? I try to lead by example. I try to show you that we talked about taxes, right? We just talked about taxes last night, our property taxes. Everybody's flipping out because they're paying thousands and thousands of dollars for property taxes. You could be reducing your property taxes, don't you? All you got to do is get up and go to your city or county commission and make a difference. Talk about the items that are passionate to you, not passionate to Bullhorn Betty, not passionate to your neighbor, passionate to you. It doesn't matter what kind of aisle you're on, what side of what your beliefs are, what your value system is. Just go make a difference with whatever God gave you. With whatever gifts God gave you, go make a difference for someone else. It's all about giving back. Like me, I love giving back. It feels good to do good. It really does. It just does something for the soul. But I'm also one of those people that are very blunt. I'm very abrasive, and I own it. That's who I am as a person. I'm nice, I'm sweet as anything can be, but I've got that side, and I don't lie about it. Half holy, half hood. That means you can pray with me, but don't play with me. And I've always been that way. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a Napoleon complex. I don't know, right? I'm short statured. Could it be? The hell if I know. right? I just say it's my personality. My affectionate, bubbly personality that just has bitch written all over it. So go make it a great day. Do an act of kindness for a perfect stranger, as always, and that doesn't mean buying the whole family a meal. What it could be is just letting the person get in, right? They're at the gas station. You don't need to be one car ahead. Just put your brake on and let them in, right? Don't cut somebody off on the road. If you see somebody struggling to get their groceries in the car, offer to help. Tell people thank you. Common courtesy, guys. You don't have to like the person to give them common courtesy, right? We're on a campaign to inspire. We're on a campaign right now to not only to inspire, but to show love, understanding. And we need to do that. We need to do that to one another. We need to practice, and we need to lead by example, because when we do it in our areas, people see that and they want to mimic it. So we're like little tentacles all over the country, right? Just doing good. And everybody wants to be like us because we're doing good. So let's go out there and do good. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, folks, I want you guys to be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. Take care, guys.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.